What's up guys? In today's video, we're gonna talk about a small package that packs a huge punch. It's called the Stryd Running Power Meter. This is me again, Coach Don V, and most of you know that I love data. To be honest, it's the single most important pivotal factor that allowed me to transition from a promising newbie to a consistent podium finisher. I've been doing this for the past decade and I'm still getting faster even if I get older. I still remember the first time I went down that data rabbit hole. After seeing my first GPS watch during a race, I just knew I had to have it. I thought to myself, finally, I know whether I'm on track for a sub 1 hour 10K or if I was gonna miss out on my goal. But to be honest, that was just the tip of the iceberg. It allowed me to quantify training. Am I running more than last week? Am I going faster? And more importantly, how far off am I from my particular goal? Something was missing though. I'm going faster, but how do I know if my body was responding? That's where heart rate came in, because it allowed me to see whether I was absorbing a particular training stimulus or if I was just pushing myself too hard. Of course, that's another topic for another time. Going back to gadgets and accessories, when it came to the bike, power meters were just getting some traction around 10 years ago. In fact, the price tag made it very prohibitive. I purchased my first one and it was even more expensive than my cheap entry-level bike. I still remember the raised eyebrows and the wide eyes when people found out about this. Some would even say, sayang pera mo, nag-air wheels ka na lang dapat, etc. Little did they know that this was a huge game changer for me. I was training with power before anyone else and this unlocked a whole new paradigm. So why train with power? Power is something that is, you could say, absolute. Unlike speed, which can be greatly influenced by things like terrain, wind, etc., power is a measurement of your work rate. The amount of effort you're actually putting out. Whether this translates to actual speed is a whole nother topic. Let's focus first on power output. The nice thing about power is that I get to stay consistent. I know whether I need to hold back or if I need to push myself harder. On top of that, I get to keep track of my progress better compared to when I was just relying on speed or distance. Finally, it allows me to nail my race. What do I mean? Training with data, power specifically, allows me to understand my body better. The information is something I can put into good use during a race. I know my capabilities as well as my limitations, and this allows me to execute the best possible race strategy. So what's the big deal about Stryd? As I mentioned earlier before, we only rely on speed or pace, maybe even heart rate during most runs. Now there's a better way of doing it. We get to actually measure your effort or your power output. Stryd gives you wattage data that's surprisingly very consistent. It's not just a device that throws out random numbers. The data I found was something I could really rely on. Running using pace is very useful on flat sections, but once there's a sizable hill, forget about your pace. It's all guesswork from there. With power, I get to measure my effort uphill and gauge whether it's aligned with the goals I have for that particular workout or race. Push too hard and you're burning your matches. Go too easy and you're missing out. It gives me unbiased, objective data that I can utilize to my advantage. Running with power also allows me to look at things like efficiency. Remember I mentioned that your power output doesn't necessarily translate to speed? Well, for example, for the bike, aside from the terrain and the wind resistance, there's also such a thing called drivetrain loss. The efficiency of your chains, cogs, hubs, bottom bracket, and even your tires' rolling resistance all come into play. The same applies for the run, but in a different way. Yes, run speed is greatly affected by things like terrain and even wind, but other factors such as run efficiency, whether it be form, shoe type, or other biomechanical factors should also be considered. The nice thing about Stryd is that we get to see this in a more detailed sense. If you want to keep things simple, to become more efficient, you have to be running at a lower output for the same speed, or you're running faster for the same power output. If you want to look at more data, Stryd allows you to measure things like ground contact time, vertical oscillation, and even leg spring stiffness. In a nutshell, these figures tell you a little bit about your body's efficiency, but this deserves another video. Finally, another bonus feature of Stryd is that it allows you to correlate training indoors with that of outdoors. I get a lot of questions asking why their run speed is different from the treadmill and when they're running outdoors. Well, to be honest, there are a lot of factors that come into play. Things such as heat dissipation, treadmill speed accuracy, difference in treadmill run form, and even psychological factors are the most common. To combat this, Stryd gives a more detailed picture of the situation. The power or pace Stryd measures on the treadmill is less prone to external factors such as changes in gait, mental perception, the belt speed and accuracy, etc. The effort you exert and the power or speed Stryd sees on the treadmill is more reliable and consistent. In general, it's normal to see your Stryd pace go down compared to what you see on the treadmill. The important thing is that you understand this and adjust accordingly. To wrap things up, let me just emphasize that training with Stryd, or data for that matter, does not disregard the importance of feel. On the contrary, it allows you to perceive it better. A lot of times, training by feel is not black or white. It's not as simple as I'm fresh so I'll train or I'm tired so I'll rest. We usually go into our workouts with some sort of fatigue, whether it be physical, mental, or even emotional. Data allows you to ground what you feel. The two are complementary. For example, when I'm feeling tired and my power numbers are down, then that's a red flag. On the flip side, if I'm maintaining a particular perceived effort level and my numbers are going up, then it means I'm improving. Truth be told, the more we keep track of our body, whether it be something objective such as data or something subjective such as feel, the better we can maximize our capabilities as an athlete. And that's the essence of knowing your numbers. Hope you liked that video. For more training tips, race previews, and gear reviews, don't forget to like our page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can also check out my website, FlyingDonV.com.